Off to its best start since 2010, Arizona football hits the road to face its toughest opponent of the year. We'll preview its Thursday contest on the gridiron against Oregon and introduce you to a pair of its veteran O-linemen. Plus, we spotlight a special Wildcat volleyballer. All this and more to come on UATV's first ever episode of Channel 3 Sports. Hi everybody, and thanks for tuning in to our opening edition of Channel 3 Sports. Here at the UATV studios in the Park Student Union, I'm your host, Joey Petrello. Next to me sits Wildcat Lacrosse PA announcer Nick Nolenberger and Zoe Wolkowitz of the Arizona Daily Wildcat. Perhaps the most underappreciated players of football of any level are the offensive linemen, but without them, quarterbacks would have no time to throw and no chance to escape the collapsing pocket. There would be no holes for running backs to run through, and as soon as the ball left the kicker's foot, it would be blocked if there were no front five. It is without any doubt that this season, Arizona football's offensive line has been a key cognate in its undefeated start. Zoe Wolkowitz has more.
Arizona head coach Rich Rodriguez has 4 senior offensive linemen out of 5 in his starting lineup. However, the returning players all helped in Arizona's rushing attack last year with 264 rushing yards and just 1.3 sacks per game. Both of these figures rank second among the entire Pac-12 conference. Seniors Mickey Bacchus and Fabian Ebeli have been 2 key parts in Arizona's offensive line. Since 2010, these 2 have blocked on the offensive line for Arizona under the reins of 2 different coaches and 3 different quarterbacks.
I believe, well, I'm hoping and believing that this is the year where it all comes together. You know, everything, scheme-wise, us understanding the scheme and believing in it and believing in the coaches. It all just comes together, we just be that cohesive unit out there and we just really show everybody that this is it.
Hopefully we can go out there and execute in our games and, play a flawless game on all 3 phases and, go out there and win a lot of football games.
One of those quarterbacks was former Wildcat standout Nick Foles, who was drafted in the 3rd round by Philadelphia and is now the Eagles' starting quarterback. Ebeli noted he and Foles once shared a Mexican food tradition every Tuesday.
Yeah, me and Nick used to always go to Rubio's on Tuesday. We always had Taco Tuesday. That's always our thing. Yeah.
Reporting for Channel 3 Sports, I'm Zoe Wolkowitz.
Last week, Arizona football opened its conference play against California in the most dramatic fashion possible. Right at the buzzer, Anu Solomon tosses up a Hail Mary pass from 47 yards out, and his prayer was answered as the senior Austin Hill pulls it down, and the Wildcats defeat the Golden Bears 49-45. That immortal play will forever be known in college football as the Hail Mary pass that shocked the entire nation. Solomon finished the game-breaking school records as the freshman completed 47 of 73 for 520 yards and 5 touchdowns through the air. He was not available in the press conference after the game, but in practice that week, he recapped the moment in his head just like this.
I was in my 3-step drop and felt pressure, rolled out to the right, and I spotted Austin and Caleb and Trey, and I just kind of threw it up and just hoped to God, someone catches it. You know what? I was just in total shock. I just laid there. BJ tackled me, so I couldn't do anything. I was just like, you know what? Did he catch it? It was fun. But yeah, it was just kind of a lucky thing. But those things rarely happen, so we can't be in those kind of situations.
Arizona football was on its bye week the past weekend, and players got a chance to rest up in preparation for this Thursday's contest against Oregon. Wildcats receiver Caleb Jones stressed the importance of getting that rest at practice.
Just, rejuvenating mentally, just, working on our fundamentals with Coach Dews, and just really looking at their defense because they're a really confusing defense. They move around a lot. There's a lot of athletes, so, we just really want to study and get ready for that.
Allowing Cal to score 45 points against it in the other week left Rich Rodriguez and his coaching staff disappointed. Even though Arizona held the Ducks to 16 points last season, Rich Rod knows it will take an even stronger effort if he wants his squad to pull away with a victory and remain unbeaten.
Because we need more plays being made on defense. I mentioned it earlier. We haven't been creating any turnovers, and we didn't get many Saturday night, and that's got to change.
All right, so Nick, Oregon quarterback Marcus Mariota is the leader of that Duck offense. By far its most dangerous weapon, has a devastating arm, devastating speed. What is it going to take for the Cats to contain him on Thursday?
Well, last year when Oregon came into Arizona, a 9-1 record, Mariota hadn't thrown an interception, and Arizona was able to get on him early and force him to throw 2 interceptions, and they ended up beating him in what was the biggest upset of the year and one of the biggest upsets in Arizona history. They won 42-16, and they got to Mariota early. One thing was he did have a hurt ankle at the time. This year he's 100% healthy, and he's actually leading the way in the Heisman Trophy winning early in the season. So it's hard to stop a guy who's 6'3" and he runs a 4.3. So Arizona's just got to mix up the coverages, try to put pressure on him, try to disguise plays, and just try to force errant throws, because when you got a guy as talented as Mariota, it's just hard. You got to play the perfect game.
Yeah, like you said, Nick, Mariota is huge on offense, and that's one of the things we're going to have to shut down in order to beat Oregon this week. But another thing is a new Solomon Art quarterback. We've seen crazy, amazing things from him this year, and I think that will be a very good and key part of winning, too.
And Zoe, when you face a team like Oregon, there's always a chance that the score might be lopsided in favor of the Ducks at halftime. Yeah. So in that case, what should the Wildcats do if they fall behind big time early?
Well, like you said, both of these teams are second-half teams, and so the way to win for Arizona is to play like we did last week against Cal. We had a 36-point fourth quarter last week, and that's how we won. And Oregon's known as being a second half team too. And so if we play like we did, I think we have a really good chance of winning them, beating them like we did last year.
I think one of the big keys, though, Arizona's got to start off fast just like they did last year, because if they play like they played against Cal in that first half, they're going to get blown out. And that's really going to be the key of the game for Arizona. They got to start fast, because Oregon's just too talented to get in any sort of hole. Arizona actually, percentage-wise, has more yardage per game, almost 50 yards as a total offense per game compared to Oregon. But if they get in a hole, there's just no way. Oregon's too talented on both sides of the ball. They've got 5-star recruits. Arizona doesn't. I mean, they've got 4- and 3-star guys. So Arizona's got to get them early, just like they did last year, if they want to have any chance. I mean, Oregon's won 28 straight games at home against unranked teams at Autzen Stadium. So it's quite the test for Arizona to go in there. But hey, if you want to do it, you want to go in there 4-0. Both teams are 4-0, so Arizona could do it. Last year there was no expectations for the Wildcats, and this year they won last year, so there's a little more. But you just got to go in there with that that mindset that everybody is it's us against the world kind of mindset. So Arizona just got to play a lights out kind of football game.
Well, not only were the expectations not as heavy back then, because they weren't the team they are now. They're 4-0 now, and obviously people are expecting more. So we will spotlight an Arizona volleyball star when we return to the program after these messages, so don't you dare change the channel. You are watching Channel 3 Sports on UATV.
Rick Williams, former U of A Wildcat. You're watching UATV. Don't change the channel.
Hi, it's David Hasselhoff, the Hoff. Get Hoff with UATV. Stay tuned. Don't change the dial.
Welcome back to Channel 3 Sports. With Nick Nolenberger and Zoe Wolkowitz, I'm Joey Petrello. Arizona women's volleyball swept the UCLA Bruins to help the Wildcats improve to 13-1 on the season and a perfect 2-0 start to Pac-12 play. During this series, freshman middle blocker Mackenzie Jacobson was named the Pac-12's Defensive Player of the Week. Jacobson had 18 kills on just 34 attempts, with 13 blocks in just 2 games. Before that, though, Arizona pulled off a thrilling victory over territorial cup rival ASU. Summer Shelton has more on the Cats' big win and spotlighted standout player Maddie Kingdon.
Aside from the regular rivalry between ASU and U of A, this game carries a little bit extra weight as both teams are currently ranked in the top 20. This is the first ASU-U of A matchup that features 2 ranked teams since 2002.
Last Wednesday night, in front of roughly 3,500 fans, the 18th ranked Wildcats took on the number 19 Sun Devils at McHale Center in an exciting 5-set game. After both teams' unwavering efforts, the Wildcats were eventually able to pull out the final win in the 5th set. Fans knew to keep a close eye on senior outside hitter Maddie Kingdon, who has officially proven herself as a major competitor with her recent nomination to the Senior Class Award among 29 other candidates. To be eligible for the award, a student-athlete must be classified as an NCAA Division I senior and have notable achievements in 4 areas of excellence: community, classroom, character, and competition. Currently ranked number 2 in the country and averaging 6.03 kills per set, Kingdon clearly dominates the court, showing both extreme leadership and control of the game. As team captain, it seems as though the team rallies around her, being both a strong motivator and positive influence for the rest of the women. Amongst Kingdon, several other players stuck out as well. Of the 16-player team, Ronnie Lewis, Kennedy Wesley, and Laura Larson were also acknowledged for their superb, unmatched efforts that eventually led the Wildcats to victory. Reporting for UATV Channel 3 Sports, I'm Summer Shelton.
Williams, the former U of A Wildcat. You're watching UATV. Don't change the channel.
All right, David Hasselhoff, the Hawk. Get Hoff with UATV. Stay tuned. Don't change the dial.
Tonight on Monday Night Football, Jamal Charles returned from injury to the Kansas City Chiefs, and they embarrassed the New England Patriots by the final score 41-14. Guys, Charles dominated in that game, scoring multiple touchdowns. Tom Brady had 2 interceptions and 2 fumbles, one of them lost. What is going on with the Patriots right now?
Well, I mean, I think Bill Belichick's idea of patching together this receiving core for the last couple of years is finally starting to bite him in the tail, along with the fact that his O-line is just starting to break down. They traded Logan Makins about a week before the season started, and everybo's been on their case.
Brady was not happy about that.
He wasn't happy when they lost, Welker, and now these are his friends, and these are guys he's been with for years. I mean, Makins was with the Patriots for nearly 10 years, so it's starting to bite him in the tail, and we'll see if the Patriots can get it together. It's been definitely not Patriot-type football to start the season.
Yeah, Welker's loss totally screwed up my fantasy league, too. But also, the Chiefs looked amazing, like, this season, just like your Bills. It kind of came out of nowhere and all of a sudden just, looked great. Like, contenders you never would have guessed, preseason, like, oh, the Chiefs, or, stuff like that. But also something that was super cool is that the Seahawks were known as the loudest stadium, in the NFL, and they had
12th man.
Yeah, but actually broke the record with the game against the Patriots when the Chiefs Stadium actually broke the Guinness Book of World Records for 142, like the sound of however much that breaks the record of, but they beat the Seahawks.
Decibels?
Decibels?
The Seahawks,
I don't know.
When they originally did it, remember it gave a slight earthquake. It set a record, and the earth actually moved.
Yeah, but that's in the Midwest. Like here,
yeah,
you can't shake the ground.
True. That's true. But as far as the Chiefs go, I mean, they are surprised. Last year they started the year they started 11-0, and everybody kind of didn't think they were for real. They had Alex Smith first year with the team. So Chiefs are solid. If you look at their lineup, they're pretty good at receiver, and they're pretty good. They have a good O-line. Their whole offense is good. They finally got Charles healthy. I know for my roommate, not too happy. He finally decided to bench him on his fantasy team, and look at that. He puts up.
He left him on the bench.
He was about over it. He hadn't given him 6 points combined all season. Finally decides, all right, that's enough, and he just blows it up tonight.
Well, another interesting story coming out of the NFL tonight. Dennis Allen, the now former head coach of the Oakland Raiders, canned after an 0-4 start, accumulating an 8-28 overall record during his time in Oakland, and it was just so obvious that there was a change needed there.
Well, they just keep doing that in Oak, and I feel like every 2 years they've got a new coach in there.
Yes,
and their quarterback had to stay in England for a little bit with a high ankle sprain. They had to keep him in the hospital. I was surprised they didn't leave Dennis Allen there as well. But they brought in Reggie McKenzie a couple years ago as the GM. They brought him from Green Bay, thought he could fix everything for him, and it just hasn't worked out. We'll see if Reggie McKenzie lasts much longer either. But I mean, that whole Raiders regime has been skewed for years, and they continue to just rub the cellar. So.
Yeah, I don't mind them because they make the Rams look a little bit better when we're always on our losing streak.
Well, when we come back, we'll cap the show off with 30 seconds. You are watching Channel 3 Sports on UATV.
Williams, former U of A Wildcat, you're watching UATV. Don't change the channel.
Hi, it's David Hasselhoff, the Hoff. Get Hoff with UATV. Stay tuned. Don't change the dial.
Well, it's been fun, but we gotta run. It's time to finish the show with a game of 30 seconds where our analysts and I have a half minute to voice any particular topic in sports of our choosing. Nick, why don't you start us off?
Well, in fashion, because me and Joe are the voices of the hockey team, we'll talk a little hockey. It just started last weekend for U of A. They were on the road against NAU. They came victorious for the weekend series, and they won't be home until October 24th. But it's been an interesting offseason for the Wildcats as they've had no ice, and they won't have ice at the TCC until about a week before the season starts. They're redoing it. They put up a video board. They got new stands. They're getting new concession stands. So it should be exciting for players and fans as they come back and enjoy the Wildcats this upcoming season. Shane Gleason has said it's been a good bonding experience as the team's traveled up to Phoenix to practice twice a week.
All right, Zoe.
Well, I'll just take this 30 seconds to whine about the St. Louis Rams because no one else will listen to me, and you guys have to listen to me. So, we're supposed to be really good, but Sam Bradford got hurt, and now our third string quarterback is starting, so that's awesome. And Chris Long, he's out too, big name, now he's out, big man too. And Tavon Austin, who probably screwed up a lot of your guys' fantasy teams also, he's out. And I think the St. Louis just teams in general are very injury prone. The Blues, the Cardinals, but Red October, so the Cardinals are in.
At least you do have the Cardinals. All right, I will close this out. How can we finish this show, especially with 30 seconds, without giving a little bit of tribute to Derek Jeter, probably one of the definitions of America, the definition of baseball, the captain of the Yankees. What a career for Derek Jeter. I feel like my childhood is over now that his career is done, and what a classy way for him to go out in Boston. I feel like Derek Jeter is the bridge between New York and Boston. Those teams now can coexist with each other, and it's just a much friendlier rivalry than it ever was before. Respect with a 2 in front of the S.
Took selfies with him.
Oh, a bunch of them did.
And Snapchat did a whole thing. Like, you could just watch the games live. His last games. It's cool.
Know, if I could take a selfie with Derek Jeter, I would.
I would
How
too.
could you not?
I would too.
How could you not? Well, a cordial thanks once again for tuning in. Next week, we'll be back again for another exciting episode of Channel 3 Sports. For Zoe Wolkowitz and Nick Nolenberger, I'm Joey Petrello, saying farewell from the Park Student Union.